It does concern me that these statements that you say are taken out of context or misunderstood are not themselves out of context. When you view them in context against other statements you've made, including statements that you made while you were representing as a lobbyist Americans for a Responsible Solution. You were talking about silencers, about sound suppressors used on firearms. You said, you know what protects your hearing better than a silencer? Earplugs. And you went on to say that making it easier for people to purchase silencers would make it easier for active shooters to inflict serious harm on our communities without being protected by trained law enforcement professionals. Now, the Washington Post, hardly a bastion of conservative right-wing nutcase journalism, gave that 3 Pinocchios. You were even more acerbic. You were even more aggressive, and I believe even more reckless when you gave a similar comment to the Salt Lake Tribune, my hometown paper, in response to legislation I had filed dealing with sound suppressors for firearms, recognizing that there are legitimate medical reasons why someone might want to protect their hearing using a combination of earplugs and sound suppressors. You said, quote, "The only people that benefit from this bill are gun lobbyists and criminals who want easier access to deadly weapons. That's why this irresponsible legislation couldn't get passed when Republicans had complete control of Congress. Instead of making it easier for firearms that could be used in ambushes and other attacks to enter our streets, Congress should focus on making the job of police officers who are trained to serve and protect the communities and their families safer." You're saying that the only people who could benefit from them are gun lobbyists and criminals who want to kill people. Is that statement also taken out of context? If so, what was the additional context? And how does this reflect the careful, measured judgment of one who would be in charge of enforcing our nation's gun laws?
Senator, thank you for the question about silencers, which have been regulated under the National Firearms Act since the 1930s. The effort to take the silencer out of that regulatory regime that has prevented silencers by more frequently being used in criminals, as an advocate, I thought that was the wrong approach.
Yes, you made that quite clear, but that's not what I'm complaining about. What I'm complaining about is that you said the only people who could support this are gun lobbyists and people who want to engage in illegal shootings, people who want to engage in mass shootings or something like that. Do you stand by that statement?
Senator, I was trying to contrast the fact that silencers are legal. You purchase them through the National Firearms Act. The people who want them unregulated are those that want to have easier access.
You're not going to spit downwind and then tell us it's just raining. I mean, I'm sorry, there's no reasonable reading of this statement that can be interpreted this way. The only people that benefit from this bill are gun lobbyists and criminals who want easier access to deadly weapons. Is it not also true that some people might want to protect their hearing while shooting?
Senator, as I said before, it's my belief that those who want to buy silencers to protect their hearing, there's a method to do that. There are many companies that sell National Firearms Act weapons, and there's a process to do that. Yep. What I was addressing was making it easier for criminals to use silencers, a threat that our nation has really avoided because of a strong law passed in 1930.
Yeah. All right. Look, I get it. My time's expired. That's not what you said. That's not what you said at all. Nor is that the impact that this bill would have. The fact is that most people don't get sound suppressors because of the regulatorily inexpensive, time-consuming, burdensome process that is imposed by this law. And I think this is very concerning for someone who's had a series of inflammatory statements. It's very concerning that we're considering confirming you to be our lead law enforcement officer for our gun laws. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.